Our brain is an extraordinary tool. It has built-in tendencies that, when understood and used wisely, can be leveraged to improve our behavior and help us achieve the things we truly desire. We often already know what to do. It's the doing part that trips us up. In fact, one of our brain's fundamental functions is to help us avoid pain, which keeps us alive. However, it's also wired to think of the worst case scenario when we ask ourselves, what if? In this episode, I'm going to take a closer look at these natural tendencies and explore how we can use them to our advantage, especially when it comes to exercise, eating well, finances, and relationships. So let's begin with exercise. When it comes to exercise, we often find ourselves avoiding it. Why? Because it hurts, at least in the beginning. Our muscles might be sore, or we might feel out of breath. But here's where our brain's natural tendency to avoid pain can be a double-edged sword. What we need to recognize is the difference between good pain and bad pain. Good pain is the strain, stress, and stretch that happens when we work our muscles, heart, and lungs. It's a sign that we're pushing our bodies to grow stronger, improve our cardiovascular health, and ultimately increase our life expectancy. This is the type of pain that makes us better. Bad pain, on the other hand, comes from injury. Think of sprained ankles or broken bones. This is the pain that holds us back from living life to its fullest. But here's the key. Our body is designed to move. It needs to be stressed in the right ways, and exercise does just that. If we don't move, we lose muscle strength, cardiovascular capacity, and flexibility. We know exercise is good for us. Our body is constantly in motion. Neurons are firing, blood is flowing, oxygen is circulating all the time. As Dr. Kenneth H. Cooper said, to be alive is to be moving. Inhibit moving, and you create illness. Stop moving, and you are dead. So let's ask ourselves the tough question. What if we don't exercise? Over time, we'll lose strength. We'll get winded climbing stairs. We'll struggle with basic tasks like walking or getting out of a chair without pain. Eventually, we may need mobility assistance, spending more time at physical therapy than doing the things we once thought we were going to be able to do when we got older. The short-term discomfort of exercising is nothing compared to the long-term pain of losing our mobility and health. When you think about it that way, the choice becomes clear. A little pain now can prevent a lifetime of hardship later. So what about eating well? We all know that eating more fruits and vegetables and consuming lean proteins and cutting back on junk food is essential for a healthy life. But why is it so hard to make these changes? Because giving up the foods we love, desserts, processed snacks, sugary drinks, is painful. Our brain and bodies are addicted to them. These types of foods are often associated with social activities, family gatherings, celebrations, or energy boosts during the middle of the day. And it's hard to break old habits. But again, let's take a moment to ask ourselves, what if we don't make healthier choices? Over time, poor eating habits lead to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and countless other health problems. Indulging in unhealthy foods now might seem like no big deal, but the long-term consequences, more doctor visits, more medications, and even a reduced quality of life can be far worse, far more painful. So consider this. The discomfort of choosing healthier food, while it may seem challenging, is really a small price to pay compared to the years of pain and regret that come from not taking care of our bodies. The choice is yours. A moment of resistance now or a lifetime of health issues later. So let's talk about finances now. We all know the formula for financial health. Spend less than you make. Sounds simple, right? But how often do we find ourselves overspending on things we don't really need? It feels painful to delay immediate gratification, especially when we're bombarded with all the advertisements and sales tempting us to buy, buy, buy. But let's think about the worst case scenario. What if we continue down the path of overspending? The stress and anxiety of living paycheck to paycheck, constantly worrying about bills and potentially facing bankruptcy, is a kind of pain that can last for years. This financial strain affects not only your mental and emotional health, but also your physical well-being. Think upset stomach, ulcers, tense muscles, and increased blood pressure, to name a few. The pain of waiting for the things you want, of really practicing financial discipline, may seem hard at the moment. But when you consider the stress of living in constant financial instability, the decision becomes clear. Choose short-term discomfort, like delaying purchases or saving for the future, over long-term financial distress. All right, the last one, relationships. When it comes to relationships, we all know that healthy communication is the key. Yet, for many of us, being truly honest with others is uncomfortable. We fear hurting other people's feelings, being ridiculed, or starting an argument. But ignoring important truths or avoiding tough conversations only leads to more stress and emotional turmoil. What happens if we don't communicate honestly? Over time, that suppressed emotion and lack of communication can lead to resentment, conflict, or even the end of relationships. Whether it's a romantic partner, a family member, or a friend, unresolved issues cause emotional and physical stress that can take a serious toll on our well-being. The short-term discomfort of speaking your truth might feel difficult, but it's nothing compared to the emotional and physical pain that comes from letting issues fester. Honest communication is a small price to pay for maintaining strong, healthy relationships. So we already know what's good for us. We have all that knowledge within us. Exercise, eating healthily, financial responsibility, and honest communication are all within our grasp. But the choice is always between short-term pain or long-term gain, or in other words, long-term pain and regret. So before you make a choice, ask yourself, what if? What if I don't do what I know is better for me? What will the long-term consequences be? When you look at the bigger picture, you might just find that the temporary discomfort is just that, temporary. Our brains are wired to avoid pain, but they're also capable of helping us make better decisions for our future. By asking ourselves the what if questions and choosing short-term discomfort over long-term pain, we can create healthier, more fulfilling lives. So, what's your worst case scenario if you keep avoiding what you know you need to do? It's time to use your brain's natural tendencies to propel you toward the life you truly desire. So, what changes and choices are you ready to make today?